Hey guys, Rob here from Room 301. Today I'm joined by Jojo from Sitebulb. Very excited to have Sitebulb involved in the podcast. We discuss all things SEO, on page versus off page, the role of brand in SEO, and all importantly, the role of AI and where the future of SEO is going. Let's get into it. Jojo, what does the future of SEO look like in your view?
Oh, what a question. And obviously, everyone has a bit of an opinion on it. Um, if I look into my crystal ball, I think the idea of, an agentic internet is really interesting to me. And it's already cropping up, it's already being tested. Um, so where SEOs sit within that, the debate is around do do we optimize websites for users anymore, or is it purely for bots? Is it for agents? Um, and that is a very unpalatable sort of future and concept to think about. But it could well go that way. Um, the alternative is that people get fed up of the rise of AI and its limitations, and actually reach out for more human connections and more user experience. So we could end up going offline completely, or people are going to reach more for social media and platforms where they can have those more human interactions and human connections without search engines or search getting in the way. But I don't know is the answer. What do you think?
Well, I don't think anyone knows, do they,
No.
truly? I think everyone's got their views. How do you feel about the whole online versus offline, sorry, on page versus off page SEO debate at the minute? I think, the last few years, certainly agencies and, well, the agencies I know of, there's been a heavy emphasis on page content.
Right.
Um, it's probably slightly easier to do. But I think the way things are going, I think there's definitely conversations and things that I'm seeing that suggest that off-page activity might be more important moving forward as these sort of AI agents and language models start to look at other things outside of the website to build a picture of the brand and therefore know how to serve up results. So, what's your view on that side of things?
Yeah, that is a really, and you're right, it's been coming up a lot more, and you just said the magic word then, which is brand. I think traditionally when we think about off-page SEO, we think link building, and potentially, sort of digital PR campaigns and that kind of stuff. But I think with the rise of LLMs and sort of answer engines, and the fact that it's now leaning more towards citations rather than, it's not about just following links and the quantity and the quality of links. It's about the quality, inverting commas, of your brand, its memorability, who's talking about it, where are they talking about it. You don't need a link anymore. Like we people need to be including you in their conversations. So I think for anybody who is working in off-page SEO, they need to consider how they might pivot in that direction and start considering. Ultimately, I think something that as SEOs we can get lost in sometimes, remembering that the fundamentals have always been there. Like building a strong brand has always been important. It's always been a worthwhile endeavor. Everybody wants to have a strong brand. Every big business wants to have a strong brand. But then, along the way, you sort of get, the quick fixes, and this is the quick route to appearing in search in featured snippets or wherever it is. So let's just do that. Everybody wants the silver bullet solution, and everybody wants, a kind of nice little offering to sell. to people to, to make money. I mean, that's where, we're in agencies and that's what we do. The SEO industry as a whole, we've got to make money. But really, there's nothing new in the fact that brand is getting more and more and more important now. We just need to take a step back and come back to those sort of marketing fundamentals, really, as SEOs. And I think perhaps we've been a little bit pigeonholed, or pigeonholed ourselves, when really we need to think of ourselves more as search marketers. You know, that's my view on that anyway. Have that broader skill set.
I agree. I don't disagree with that at all. And finally, before we get on to the usual questions that we ask, anything you guys are thinking about internally at Sitebulb, trade secrets, anything you can share anyway
Oh,
that might help shape the way things are going moving forward.
exclusives. Um, well, I mean, what I can tell you is that I mean, speaking of fundamentals, we've been going through a process. And I mean, we're kind of at the end of the process right now of like revisiting our infrastructure and rebuilding it for growth and scale, because obviously we don't just have the desktop product, we have the cloud product as well, which requires a certain level of infrastructure in order to service like enterprise clients, for example. Um, and once that is completely done and dusted, which we're close to finishing now, it will be an exciting time because we'll be able to get stuck back into sort of sexy features that people want. We haven't really been able to do that for a little bit because we've been like cleaning house and shoring up, like I say, our foundations. But I think, one thing that we are working on right now is I think it would be foolish to ignore AI and its capabilities. Um, but it's about, certainly from the Sitebulb perspective, it's about, we don't just want a whizzy bell and whistle that's kind of a gimmick, kind of pointless. Like, how can we actually integrate AI so that it's adding value? So watch this space.
Well, look, I look forward to that, and I'm sure the team do as well. Well, let's jump into our typical questions. So, for anybody that hasn't listened, hopefully you have, we do tend to ask our guests three questions. One of those is what's in your toolbox. The second one is around a failure, bonus points if it's funny, and the last one is obviously what our podcast is all about, which what are we going to put in room 301? So, what really annoys you about marketing? What do you want to see banished, never to be seen again? So, question one, Jojo, is what's in your toolbox? And actually, just before we started recording, we were talking about you and the team being you. So, I imagine your toolbox is quite broad to allow you to do your job and probably do the job of more than one person. So, yeah, really interested to hear about what's in your toolbox, what helps you stay on top of your workload, what helps you get the job done efficiently, etc.
Yeah.
Floor is yours.
Yeah. Well, so there's different tools for the different hats that I wear. Um, so as the marketing manager, I'm also the social media manager. So the first thing I open every day is LinkedIn, more or less. We really wanted to take advantage of LinkedIn's kind of capabilities when I came on board. And so that is our main sort of community building platform. And I'm very drawn to the idea of community marketing. It's very on brand for Sitebulb. We don't want to sell to you, really. We want to provide you with useful information that helps you do your job as an SEO. So a lot of my role is content and content marketing. So in my toolbox, I've got, well, we do webinars. We do a webinar every month. So for that, our webinar platform is AirMeet. Don't know if you've come across that one. So it's it's got a pretty good user experience. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with AirMeet. And then after that, I go into because we download all of our webinars, and they go onto YouTube, and I use Video Ask for getting video testimonials from our customers, which we also get to share on social media. And then for kind of clipping things up and making them adding captions, editing videos together, I use a tool called Opus Clip, which I highly recommend. I don't think I could do my job not near, I wouldn't be able to get the output in terms of video without Opus Clip. Definitely not. I'm also the, email marketing manager and automation. So we use MailChimp for our sins. The jury's out on, sometimes I love it, sometimes I love it less. But I am able to.
We also use Mailchimp. Nothing wrong with
Do
that.
you? Do you? Okay. Well, I don't want any. We are we're friends with Mailchimp. So, again, like it's worked. It's working really well for us. And no tool is perfect, right? I can say that isn't because I work for a tool. So, I'm also using ChatGPT a lot because, as you've pointed out, I am sort of a one-woman marketing team, and ChatGPT is a perfect little assistant for me. When you're spending so much time strategizing and thinking and being creative constantly, like there's no downtime. And we're humans, we're not robots. And sometimes I need to bounce some ideas or get some suggestions from someone, from something. And I mean, ChatGPT is also useless at a lot of things. Well, I found this out the other day. Maths, terrible at maths. Literally, it was like 10 plus 5 plus 5 plus 10, and it came out with 35. And I was like, are you sure that's right? Oh, no, no, it's not right. So yeah, I think ChatGPT is great for brainstorming, pretty decent at content repurposing as a sort of first draft, but don't give it any sums to do. And then, of course, I use Sitebulb for auditing the website from an SEO perspective. Like we've just done a bit of a migration, well, upgrading from a previous version of our CMS to a new version, and there's a little bit of migration involved, and so obviously auditing via Sitebulb before and after was part of our process. Oh, Canva, that's one. That's one I use constantly for mainly social media graphics and videos. And that's, I mean, I'm not a designer, and so without Canva, I mean, there's no way I'd be able to use Adobe or uh, what's it, Photoshop. That's the other one. I could try to think of more tools. Oh gosh, we've just started
Interesting.
using TikTok.
So, ChatGPT, oh, you've just started using TikTok.
Yeah, yeah, yes, and that was a very reluctant um, move from on my part, but I kind of don't really want to admit this, especially not publicly, but I think I might be sort of enjoying it now.
Hey, TikTok. I'm a doom scroller on TikTok.
Are you?
I can spend hours at a time, much to the dismay of my wife, actually.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I only put, so I'm only sort of, I think it's more the video creation that I'm enjoying. Um, I would not enjoy the doom scrolling. I've got
Yeah,
enough of that on LinkedIn.
I bet. And ChatGPT, so have you managed to get any agents working for you? Any clever tricks you've got with ChatGPT?
Do you know what? We were talking about this morning on SEO office hours, and and then I was just about to load up ChatGPT, and I was going, and it came up with the message to start the agent, and I haven't tried it yet, so I can't give you any tips uh, or insights there, unfortunately, not yet. But we are working on in collaboration with a partner. This is I won't be able to go into too much detail, but we're working on a GPT, which could be quite cool resource for people. So keep your eyes peeled for that coming up.
Nice. And the second part of our podcast is all about failures. Obviously, we caught up just before we started recording, Jojo, and obviously your experience is quite deep. You've done in-house, you've done charity, you've done freelance. Now, obviously, you're a Sitebulb. So I'm assuming with all of that and the success, there's been some failures, there's been some down points, which has helped you and enabled you to get to where you are today, working for a well-renowned tool, obviously um, running your own function effectively. So, any failures that stick out to you? And there are some bonus points if it's funny.
Do you know, I sort of struggle with this question a little bit because certainly my career has been varied, and a lot of it very experimental. So there's certainly some funny moments that stand out. For example, where it, I had a client who the Austrian National Tourism Office right at the start of my career, and I had to wear a dirndl and go out and walk the streets of where it must have been Camden, I think, handing out leaflets. I mean, I wouldn't say that was a highlight. But one thing that it does teach you, is I think it's an important lesson to never be afraid to get your hands dirty and get stuck in. And like, there is no um, unimportant role or job in marketing. Like, it all plays a part. But actually, I did think of probably the time that I consider a real failure was I was in my early 20s, and my colleague at the last minute he was unwell, um, and I had to take over this meeting. It was a client stakeholder meeting, which I hadn't been. I'd been working kind of on the client, but this stakeholder was brand new, and I certainly wasn't prepared for the meeting. The stakeholder happened to be a dragon, which was terrifying, and I was absolutely grilled by this dragon. And certainly in my head, I thought the meeting was an abject failure. Um, I think I must have cried afterwards. But my client actually thought it went really well. So, and I can laugh about it now. I mean, I did think it was awful, but I suppose, I mean, that was an important experience for me in terms of being put on the spot and being okay to not be completely prepared, and having to wing it, and you know not having everything under control, because I do like to feel very prepared and feel very in control. And but also, I think another important message which I had around the same time in my career was, I remember one of my she was in a different team, so she wasn't a direct colleague, but I think she said to me after I was in tears over something or another, and she said, "It's only PR, it's only marketing." Like, and that is it's a good thing for us to remember. And I know the stakes can be high sometimes, if you're talking big bucks, namely, but no one's going to die. We're only people. We make mistakes. We're not expected to be perfect. And the world will keep turning. And there are more important things in life to remember.
I agree. I think I'm also a person that likes to at least feel like I'm on top have everything and I've got everything figured out. But I think actually there's a skill in itself, especially when you reach quite a high level, that actually with that workloads have peaks and troughs, and it's been able to manage the peaks just as well as the troughs. And yeah, it might not be managed quite as well, but actually there's a bit of a skill in doing just enough to push something through and progress it enough to the point that it can be progressed by somebody else or delegated to somebody else, or maybe there's a meeting, there's a skill in just adding enough value to get you through that meeting. All the
Totally.
successful people I know and have met, there's so many times where I can see them winging it on the spot, but they're still adding value. They're still getting through the meeting. They're still getting a good set of follow-ups from it.
Yeah.
It might not be as thorough as if, their workload was slightly lower, but it's definitely enough to get you through that moment in time. And possibly the next week, you're a little bit more free to sit down and think about it and work out the next steps. So
Mm.
there's definitely something in that. There's definitely a skill set there, being able
But
to
and
do
I,
that without crumbling or falling under the pressure.
yeah, and I think that comes with a lot of the time that comes with age and experience, doesn't it? Right? Because you are
Mm,
more able to just make decisions. Like you've seen the same sort of scenarios, or you've been in this sort of position before. Half the time the most important thing, like as you say, is just making a decision so that something can progress rather than being held back by perfectionism, or the need to
that's it.
kind of get your head buried in research, or whatever it is. You just need to start. You just need to do enough. And then, as you say, like you can delegate, or you can, come back to it.
That's it. That's it. And last but not least, for anyone that doesn't know, the reason we called our podcast Room 301 is because for anybody in SEO who know that a 301 redirect is something that you direct somewhere else effectively and intentionally as well. Um, so we've made a make-believe room called Room 301, and we're going to stick everything in marketing that we don't like um, in there and just redirect it somewhere else so we don't have to deal with it anymore. So what are you putting in Room 301, Jojo? What grinds your gears about marketing?
Yeah. So I had to have a real think about this one. And I was sort of thinking, I mean, attribution, there's various things that are a pain in the ass in marketing, but then I realized that but they're kind of necessary evils that you've got to do it. So I'm not gonna put something that is necessary into room 101, room 301. My apologies. But what I am going to put in, because like you said, it really grinds my gears, and that is the concept of a personal brand. Oh, I just don't even really know where to start with this. It upsets me so much. It is so unnecessary. People are people, brands are brands. People have personalities. They don't have brand traits. They're authentically themselves. They have parts of their character. Like we invented brands based on the concept of like individuality that exists in human nature, and now we've decided to turn it around and put the concept of brand on top of human nature. No, that's ridiculous. You are who you are. Fine. If you don't want to share all of the parts of you, that is, at work or in a work context, that's fine. You don't have to. No one's saying that that you have to. But calling calling it a personal brand is, I don't know if I'm allowed to swear. Am I allowed to swear? I'll try not to. It's
We'll beep it. We'll beep it.
okay. It is wanky corporate bullshit that shouldn't be allowed to exist. It's total nonsense. And the fact that it's like, I thought, to be honest, it was knocking around 10, 10, at least 10 years ago. It came up then. I remember it back then at the start of my career. But now, like, why are we talking about it
Yeah.
again? We should be coming out of this era of manufactured self, we should be coming into an era of more authenticity, because being human is what makes us so remarkable, especially today as AI, is threatening jobs, threatening goodness knows, like threatening livelihoods, threatening roles. Like, I don't know, will my job exist in 10 years' time? Like, but so let's just forget about personal brand and let's just be ourselves.
So do you feel that having an individual at the helm of the marketing, so to speak, or being the driving force behind marketing, or playing a big role in the marketing campaigns and lead generation as an individual is a good tactic these days?
Yeah, I do, for sure. 100%. Especially, on LinkedIn, we're seeing that like pages, corporate pages are getting less and less kind of visibility and airtime. And it is all about people. I mean, people
Mm.
buy people. We've been saying that since the start of my career, and it's absolutely true. Like, that's why, at Sitebulb, um, the co-founder and CEO, Patrick, he still writes the release notes. They're his thing. He swears in them, he rants in them. We've kind of renamed them release rants because that's what they are, and because release notes historically are boring. His personality, not his personal brand, his personality has made them interesting and made them famous. I mean, there's a lot of very influential SEOs who love these release rants. So I guess yes, having a person, a real person with a real character and a real personality, um, creating that trust, it all helps with that trust, doesn't it? Like, who are the people behind this tool that I'm using, behind this brand that I'm buying products from? Um, I can see that only getting more important, to be honest. I mean, it's this concept of like micro influencer, I guess, which again cropped up years ago, and it does seem to be the direction that we're moving in. I don't think TikTok would exist with it, were that not the case.
Mm. No, I agree. I agree. Well, look, Jojo, I'm very grateful for your time today. Thank you for joining me. Um, I'd love you to
Thank you.
tell the listeners more about yourself, more about Sitebulb, before we head off.
Okay. Well, I'm Jojo. I'm the marketing manager at Sitebulb. Sitebulb is a website auditing tool, otherwise known as a website crawler. So we have a desktop tool, and we also have a cloud version of the tool, which means, and we're the only website crawler on the market that offers a desktop product and a cloud product. And that means that we can help any SEO, whether you're a little freelancer or you're a massive global agency or you're a huge enterprise business. Um, there's a Sitebulb to suit. And so, yeah, as part of my role, something that I'm really passionate about and interested in is creating this community of SEOs, of Sitebulbers. And in order to do that, we put out a lot of helpful SEO content in the form of articles and webinars and tips and that kind of thing. We haven't got a podcast yet. Maybe we will one day. Who knows? I love to collaborate with other SEOs. If you want to make a name for yourself or you have a unique insight to share, I'd please do get in touch with me. And yeah, maybe we can work together.
Excellent. Well, look, Jojo, thank you, and thank you for anybody that has listened to this. We will drop Jojo's information down in the show notes, and we'll drop some information on Sitebulb as well. I'm going to guess if you are listening to this, you probably know a whole lot about Sitebulb anyway, but we will still drop information on Sitebulb in the show notes. Thank you again. Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you again next time.
Thank you.